Breaking news in the SportsCenter. Professional wrestling legend Hulk Hogan has died in Florida at 71 years old. We welcome in ESPN New York's Pete Rosenberg, who is also a WWE analyst. Pete, what's your reaction to the news of his death?
Oh man, it's a complicated feeling. Instantly just sadness, obviously off top. Really heartbreaking. I think for a long time, many of us had concerns about his health. Just in the last couple of weeks, there were some conversations, some rumors spread that his health was not good. Um, but I'm floored. 71 years old in professional wrestling in the era that he is from, knowing what he put his body through. It is a very long life to live. He put a lot of miles on that body. Worked at a time in which you were working 300 days a year. But the bottom line is, in spite of the shortcomings that we've seen of the man Terry Bollea over recent years, perhaps, there is no denying he is the most important professional wrestler who ever lived, culturally. He is the Babe Ruth of professional wrestling. And if Hulkamania doesn't start there in the mid 80s, I doubt that someone like me is able to make a living in professional wrestling. He completely changed the sport.
Yeah, I remember watching him as a kid. He was such a huge part of my childhood of watching wrestling, and he was one of the most iconic wrestlers of all time. So what would you say his legacy was?
I mean, honestly, the legacy for Hulk Hogan is essentially the wrestling business as we know it. If Vince McMahon and Hulk Hogan don't do what they did in the 80s, is WWE scoring the incredible deal they have right now with Netflix? Does The Rock become a movie star? Are we watching Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, NXT on Tuesdays? Are all of these things happening without Hulk Hogan? To me, the answer is no, they're not. At the time in which he came, this was a really popular regional business. We know what Vince McMahon did to transform wrestling as we know it. But none of those things would have happened unless he had an iconic superstar. And that superstar was Hulk Hogan. So to answer your question, I think, frankly, his legacy is the success of professional wrestling in the way that it's successful as we know it.
Yeah, now the truth is the last several years have been controversial. So how does that affect what we think of Hulk Hogan going forward?
That's a really complicated question, and the last several years, of course, were troubling for a lot of people who grew up loving Hulk Hogan. And one of the things, honestly, that I'm saddest about at this moment is that Hulk never really made the amends that people wanted. He really never took the opportunity to, I think, apologize to fans in a way that would have been super meaningful. And I think that did hurt a lot of people. But the fact of the matter is, as we sit here on the day at which we lost him at 71 years old, I think if we are reasonable people, we understand that human beings are complicated and we don't deserve to be defined by our absolute best moments or our absolute worst moments. And while Hulk Hogan had some bad moments over the last several years, more importantly, Terry Bollea had some bad moments over the last several years, that just does not negate the fact that if you're doing a Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling, he's probably number one with a bullet. He is the Kleenex, the Babe Ruth, the sort of logo of professional wrestling, and that can't be taken away.
Pete, we really appreciate you joining us on short notice to give us some great insight on Hulk Hogan. Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you, man.